On the way to the airport, I had a car accident.
So you got demoted because you missed a week off work after a car accident?
Yeah, I didn't feel valued.
So you quit your job to do the property training, and now you're controlling how many properties?
26.
And turning over how much?
30k a month. Every single one of my deals are no money down deal. I've literally invested £0 of my own money in all my deals. You have to be passionate. You have to be willing to do whatever it takes and then just be around winners.
Congratulations on making it to Winners on a Wednesday.
Hi, thank you.
You have been working your butt off this last year.
Absolutely.
And I think one of the things that we all know you for in the property community is your work ethic, because you literally moved from London to Huddersfield.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you do that?
When I joined, I just wanted to, I found that London was very competitive, the market. And plus I had families up Huddersfield and I just knew it well. And you can get to different places like Leeds, Manchester, Bradford. And there was just so much opportunity there.
Yeah.
So I moved up north.
It's interesting you did that. And quite a few people have done this.
Yes.
You know, they've got like a massive deal or a massive connection or a landlord, and they've just moved to the area.
Yeah.
And that shows proper commitment. What were you doing prior to going in full time into property? Like, what's your background?
So I was working for an IT company.
Okay.
So it was a very steady job. I was working from home most of the time, but I could go in the office. It was very comfortable, but I kind of found it a bit boring. Or
Yeah.
So
you're working full time in IT.
In IT.
What kind of salary were you making?
About 36.
Okay, so normal salary.
Normal salary.
Living in London.
Living in London.
Cool. Normal setup.
Yes.
What was it that gave you that to kind of suddenly want to get into property, and how did it all come about?
With work, right? I went on holiday and I had a car accident, so I missed my flight coming back. And by the time I got back to the UK, they've already demoted me and gave someone else my role. They didn't really believe me, even though I sent them pictures. And then that kind of just made me okay, I really don't want to be working for a company that don't really care about me per se. That's how I kind of felt.
So you got demoted.
Yeah.
Because you missed a week off work after a car accident.
Yeah, I missed
Ouch.
on the way to the airport, I had a car accident. It wasn't big, but it did delay me and I missed my flight.
Yeah.
And by the time I got back, my role was taken from me and everything.
Did you lose your job over that?
No, I didn't lose my job.
You just got a new job which was less pay?
No, they kept my pay. They
Right.
just basically removed me from my role and
Okay.
gave it to someone else and gave me a lesser role.
Wow.
So I wasn't really happy about that. And then I wanted to come to the deal selling masterclass, right? And
Yeah.
they said no.
Oh, that's not acceptable.
So then I handed my notice. I said, you got 2 days. And
So you quit your job to do the property training,
yeah, I did.
which was only like a few days training. So you quit your whole job over that. I remember that.
Yeah,
And didn't you sell your first deal on the program?
absolutely.
High five.
Paid $4,000
Made $4,000 on the program.
on the
Wow.
program. Yeah.
Do you know what this? Do you think a lot of people live their whole life just working in a job, not being appreciated, not being valued, but they never know that there's anything different. They don't know there's something else that they can do.
Absolutely. I think for me, I didn't feel valued. So I'm just like, okay, what's the risk versus reward? Because I was spending days just watching your deal selling masterclass, and that training is very long. It's like 70 something hours.
Oh,
right?
you did the online deal selling masterclass.
I was
That's
watching
long.
it day by, I was working from home, watching it over and over, step by step. So
Yeah.
by the end of it, I was just really boost up anyway.
Yeah.
And I felt like everything that you was training online, I could do.
Right.
So when I was watching it and I was thinking, okay, LaCarla, you can do this. Why stay here and be unhappy? Why don't you try? So the next deal selling course was going to be in 4 months. I didn't want to stay 4 months and do it later. I want to do it now. I was already ready to go. So
So you did the online training.
Yes.
Got all the theory.
Got all
Then
it.
you wanted to do the in-person. Your work said no, and you
Yes.
said bye. You're fired.
I
Sacked
said,
your boss.
I said, I said bye. But eventually they did give me the 4 days off and asked me to stay 2 months before actually leaving.
Oh, right. They always do that, though, don't they? They'll say you can't, and then when you
Yeah.
go, well, I'll leave then. It's like, okay, you can. All right, we'll pay you more.
Yeah.
We do believe you. We do believe that you had a car accident.
Exactly. So, and then because I quit my job, it made me more hungry. So I actually went to Somerset to view that property that weekend before the deal selling masterclass because I was like, I have no job. I finished my online training. what's the worst that can happen?
Did you come to a crash course first, or did you go straight into the advanced?
I did a crash course.
Yeah.
I did a crash course like 2 months before.
And how was that?
It was amazing. It was like a wet Christmas party. We drove up to Manchester from London, and believe it or not, but the crash course was 4 minutes walk away from a hotel.
That's cool.
So I thought I might as well go to the crash course.
Absolutely, it'd be rude not to.
So yeah.
And now then, so it's been, how long has it been since you sold your first deal and you kind of went fully in?
So I've sold my first deal in February.
So this year?
This year.
So it's been about 8-9 months now?
Yes.
And now you're controlling how many properties?
26.
26 properties?
Yes.
And turning over how much?
30k a month roughly.
With a profit per month for you?
About 7 grand.
About 7 grand a month, which is like madness.
Yes.
That's incredible. And you're doing the deal selling still.
I do like one a month, but since the ACPP, I've been structuring my business to now focus more on deal selling as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many deals have you sold to date?
7.
7 deals.
Yeah.
So you're full-time in property, financially independent,
Yes.
making more money than most people that have worked all their life in the corporate world.
Yes.
So how did you do it? What are the tips?
What are the tips? Be passionate.
Right.
I think for me, it's because I'm passionate. So everything that came to me was because people knew who I was and they saw how passionate I was about everything. So even my first rent to rent, it was because of my passion. Someone said, I was like, okay, I found this rent to rent. I have no money, quit my job. I need some money. And a friend of mine, she saw how passionate I was. She really believed in me. She said, I know someone who may be able to invest in you. So go and see this person. I spoke to them just like how I am naturally. And I just, laid everything out. And within like 24 hours, the money was in my bank for the first rent to rent.
How much did you have to raise for that?
5 grand.
£5,000. And you raised that super quick.
Super quick.
And what about the deal that you sold, the very first deal at the Deal Selling Masterclass?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
How did that happen? So when I went to Somerset to find that deal that weekend after quitting my job, I came back, I checked it with Simon. He said, this is a great deal. So I just put my hand up and I was like, he wasn't choosing me at first. I was like, I've got an all money out deal. And I screamed out. But then I used that money towards joining the academy. And it's just the best decision.
But what's interesting is, I didn't notice you at first, but you kept on...
Yeah.
Hey, I've got this deal.
I've got this
Can't
deal.
ignore it. But that's how you have to be.
pick me.
I think to be successful, you've got to sometimes be prepared to be courageous and even sometimes put yourself down people's throats. And certainly in Britain, and certainly when it comes to money, money's taboo.
Yeah.
We're all about being humble.
Yeah.
We're even at school, it's like, don't step out. Don't step out the lines. Put your hand up when you want to go to the toilet.
Yeah.
But in business, you've got to be loud. You've got to let people know what you're doing. And you've got to be courageous because it's so embarrassing. People would find it so embarrassing to say, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. And then they fail.
Yeah.
And everyone saw them fail.
Yeah.
And everyone saw them really try and fail. And I think the fear of failure stops a lot of people doing that. But where did that courage come from? Where did that confidence come from right at the beginning?
I think for me, failure was not an option, and it still isn't an option for me. I was so ready to go. And also, when everyone had their deals, and you're like, does anyone have any better deal? And I was thinking, my deal is better than that,
Yeah.
And I was like, you better choose me because my deal's good.
Yeah, and I was selling multiple deals as well in the program.
Yeah.
What did you think when you saw me selling deal, just selling deals live?
I just knew that I could do it, and it just made everything just come together. So it just made it all worth it. Like, okay, I can visually see from A to B how to do it.
Yeah,
and
especially when I sell your deal.
Exactly, right? So
£4,000 bang.
£4,000.
And you put that into the academy.
Of course.
Bang.
It just felt like the right thing to do. And obviously it was scary at first because investing in the academy is expensive and I don't have a job.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, ooh, but I was ready to put everything in it.
But again, that's courageous there again. Because like, that's another thing. People will think, I don't want to step out and tell everyone what I'm going to do because then I might fail and look stupid.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend everything I've got on my education and invest in myself because it might not work.
Yeah.
And when you're driven by it, what if it goes wrong? What if it doesn't work? You're almost dooming yourself from the start. Whereas what you did is you said, what if it will?
Yeah.
Right? Or it has to. I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah.
So you sold your first deal, made £4,000. What was the deal? It's Somerset, you say?
It was a 7-bed HMO. So it was a 5-bed that would be converted into a 7-bed HMO.
It's like a BRR HMO thing. You
Yeah.
viewed it.
Yeah, viewed it. Got all
Brought
the
it
figures.
to the program.
Yeah, so I was just like, reading all the numbers off when you was asking me, and you said, what's the vision? And I was able to show you. And
Yeah.
it was just great.
And that's something you need confidence, but you also need the knowledge to back up your confidence.
Yeah.
Which is why
Yeah,
education is important.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
if I'd have said to you, what's the vision? What's the numbers? How much is it going to cost to refurb? And you'd have fallen apart.
Yeah.
You can be as confident as you want, but if
Yeah.
you ain't got the knowledge to back up the confidence.
I was reeling it off. I was like,
Yeah.
this.
So your rent-to-rent portfolio,
Mm-hmm.
is that based in Huddersfield?
No. I have none in Huddersfield, believe it
Where
or
are
not. I've got 4 in Manchester.
Okay.
And then we have the 22 in Bradford. And I've got a couple pending. I'm just setting them up at the moment.
You've got a couple of lease options pending as well?
Yeah, a couple lease options.
That's
just
awesome.
making sure I'm going through the legal team. Just
So
making
good.
sure. And it's really good.
So, considering this is your first year,
Yeah.
it is madness. And sometimes people ask me, they say, what happens to the people on Winners on a Wednesday, like down the line? Damn, I could do Winners Wednesday Graduate Part 2.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the list of people and then you look how they are 2 years after their interview,
Yeah.
they are crazy successful.
It's crazy what... Well, I got my first keys to my essay, I think on the 28th of April. And that was November?
Yeah.
And it's just crazy what 6-7 months can do.
Yeah. When you work your ass off,
Yeah.
invest
And
in
I
yourself.
work
Oh,
very
believe
hard.
me. We know that. That's the first thing I said. Work hard, surround yourself with a good team,
Yeah.
invest in yourself, and be
Yeah.
courageous.
Absolutely.
If you do that, you're almost guaranteed to win.
Absolutely.
Was there any times, like, I know you sold you, I know you succeeded quite quick, for you happened quite quick.
Yeah.
But were there any times at the beginning when you were thinking, geez, this is not working, I need to get a job again? Or did that not happen?
No. And I was saying this at the networking event in Manchester with our guys. There was one day, it was just everything was just overwhelming because I'm a one-man van and managing everything. And I just remember waking up and saying, I don't want to do this, I'm going to quit. And then I just, for a quick second, I thought about applying for a job, doing an interview, and I snapped out of it straight away because I'm like, never, I'm not doing that. So this has to work. Yeah. So, no.
As you've probably heard me say before, it's hard being rich, but it's also hard being poor.
Absolutely.
So you got to choose. Do I want the hardship and the responsibility of running a business and having loads of tenants and 26 properties to manage? Which is going to be tough to set that up and systemize that, but it's also going to be tough to have a job.
Absolutely.
And you just got to choose which one you want. And I'd rather the one that brings me in 30 grand a month. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So you do a lot of social housing as well, don't you?
Yes, I'm around, quite a lot of people around me are in social supported living. Yeah. So I am learning from them. So sometimes I also do like two shifts a week where I work in that environment with my friends and they're training me. So even the investor who has the 22 units, we've got a block of 2 that we're doing supported living on. Nice. So floating support, guaranteed money.
Yes.
Even the block of 20. We are in process of also turning that into supported living.
Great.
So profit-wise, it's going to be really good in the next probably like 6-7 months.
What are them? So you've got some of them are supported living.
Yeah.
Some of them are they serviced accommodation.
Yeah, most of them are service accommodation. I have also had midterm tenants in the block of 20. I
was going to ask, like, who's. Because these are in Bradford.
Yeah, in Bradford.
Who's going to Bradford on serviced accommodation? I'm not being funny, but like, I can't imagine you got many tourists in Bradford. Bradford or Barbados, you know?
Well, it's right next to the football stadium, which is great. Okay. So it's in a great location. I do have, to be honest, I have a really high repeat guest rate in the Bradford unit. We have, even currently, we have about 4 in the SA section that's been there for like 3 months. Okay. They just keep extending every month.
That's not bad.
Yeah, and then 8, another section of 8, we have them for like 6 to 12 months as well.
You do as well. Something interesting that you do is you do a lot of management. So you, some of your properties are rent to rent. Correct me if I'm wrong. But quite a lot of them are just straight management where you just say to the landlord, look, you want to get £1,000 a month for probably Bradford less. You want £500 a month for this apartment? Let me do it as serviced accommodation. And I'll take a percentage. Is that what you do?
That's what I do. And even to last night, I came down. I was working with a guest who stayed in my property. And it was my first time doing like charging a deposit, and the lockbox wasn't working. I thought the check-in process wasn't perfect, but she just loved the way I dealt with the situation. She called me as soon as she checked in and she said, LaCarla, do you manage this building? I said, yeah, I've got a few properties in this building. She's like, me and my husband would love for you to, manage some of ours.
Wow.
And so at the moment,
even though it was a disaster, she still said that.
it wasn't necessarily a disaster. She just loved the way how every issue that she had, I was able to like stay on the phone, guide her through it. She even enjoyed paying the deposit. Not enjoyed it, but she was happy. No, but she was so happy that I charged a deposit, because in her head she's thinking, if she manages my property, she's also going to charge a deposit.
You take photo ID and stuff.
Yes, I take.
Right.
Yes,
so she saw your process.
Yes.
I do that though. When I stay at properties, sometimes I'll be thinking, damn, this person doesn't know what they're doing. They're terrible. They didn't ask me for any ID. They didn't take my card details. They don't even know who I am. I could trash this place and this is terrible.
Literally.
Or I'll get there. I was staying at a property I went to Disneyland last year in France, and I went to take the property. There was no lockbox.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, they didn't have any instructions. I messaged them and they were like, oh yeah, we'll be there in an hour. We'll come and let you in. The guy physically had to drive to open it. I'm thinking, this is ridiculous. He needs to come on the service accommodation training, baby. What's this? So your lady saw your setup, and even though there was a few hiccups, because you were so proactive. And that's another thing in business is really important is, I've noticed we do a lot of training at the ACPB about customer service. And about customers and obsessing over your customers. Your customers will forgive you for making mistakes as long as you address it, and it's how you react to it.
Absolutely.
If you make a mistake and they can't get hold of you and you're like la and you respond terribly, but if you respond well, then they'll actually end up loving you.
I am obsessed about my customers.
Is that amazing? I'm glad to hear that.
And hence why I'm like Superhost and Airbnb within like 4
Yes!
months. I know, but
Superhost.
Yeah.
Awesome. You've got to be obsessed with your customers because they're the people paying you.
Of course.
So this lady then, so she was a guest, but then she said, I also own properties. Can you manage mine?
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest, they were staying at my property because they were renovating an apartment.
Okay.
But that apartment is not even their main home. They just stay in it temporary until they buy their dream home.
Right.
But since then, they've also bought another property, another apartment next to that building.
Yeah.
Which I'm just almost finished the refurb, light refurb on it, then staging it, and then managing it. So she wants me to do the full thing. She just gives me the keys.
Okay, I want to know, LaCarla, I want to know the different types of guests that would stay in serviced accommodation, because one of the misconceptions about serviced accommodation is that you only get tourists. So people will be thinking, oh, Bradford is going to be terrible because there's no tourists. That's why I said that, because people think that. So tell me the different types of guests.
Yeah. So I don't get much tourists in my area. So in Bradford, for example, I have a lot of probably healthcare professionals who actually stay.
Why would a healthcare professional not have their own house?
Because they're traveling from far. They like to do their Monday to Friday. So I get a lot of that Monday to Friday booking.
So they're coming to work at a hospital?
Yes.
But maybe they've just got a shift for the week or whatever, but they don't live in Bradford, so they stay at your place. How much do you charge per night?
How much? Which one? Which area?
Bradford.
In Bradford, during the week, it's about 70 plus cleaning, so it's quite low.
Okay.
But in Manchester, I charge probably about 120 a night.
And for Bradford, you're managing the properties.
Managing that, yeah.
Do the landlords love you?
Oh my gosh. So the Bradford landlord, they were able to like refinance their property and get a valuation because we set it up so nicely. They were just so impressed. The value of the property went up.
Okay, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. More guests. So you got healthcare professionals.
Yeah.
Who else?
So in my Manchester block, it's Monday to Friday. The car park is full of work vans from 6 p.m. because it's just contractors.
Yeah.
And then on weekend is where I get my, let's say, tourist or someone weekenders.
Yeah, they're coming to do some shopping in Manchester or whatever.
Yeah, or events.
Do you get relocators?
Yeah, I get relocators.
Talk to me about what that means.
So these are people who are in the process of moving houses. So they might have maybe refurbing a house, it's not ready. For whatever reason, they need a temporary stay.
Yeah.
A lot of the time they do extend.
Yeah.
For relocators, it's really good having
if they're moving house,
they
might think, oh, I need somewhere for a few weeks, but a few weeks turns into a few months
because the work's not done,
and you're getting paid 100 quid a night. But why would? But I guess the thing is, they're paying for flexibility, aren't they?
Yeah.
If they rented a house, they'd have to sign into an AST contract for 12 months, furnish the place, get Wi-Fi.
Absolutely.
You're giving them home from home.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you pitch landlords?
How do I pitch landlords?
Yes.
I think for me at the moment, it's really it's easier because I have the proof of the portfolio.
Right.
And I'm able to show, what I do. And
All right,
then
so
the process.
I'm a landlord.
Yes.
I'm in Manchester.
Yeah.
I got a little apartment block.
Yeah.
With 6 apartments.
Yeah.
And you're pitching me for management.
Yeah.
How do you approach me?
So I've done this recently. There's a block down the road. So I just went in. I said, "Hey, I'm LaCarla."
Hold on. When in where? To the apartment block? Or
Yeah, there was an apartment block, and they're doing a refurb work on it. And I just
how do you know
wanted
who the owner even is?
Because the builders told me he'll be back next week.
Right, so you approach the builders.
Yeah.
Okay, this is all part of it though. This is the secret right here.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are just like, what? Why you just turn? So you see the builders and you
Yeah.
say, I want to talk to the owner. Mm-hmm. And they say, oh, the owner's called Andy.
Yeah,
He's going to be here on Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you come back on Tuesday after.
Okay. And then what do you say? And when you see, hey, you must be Andy.
Yeah, I just asked, what's the plan with what you plan to do here? And, are you renting it out? Are you selling? Are you so I just asked the general questions. We build a report. And then I go in and I said, that building, it's a historical building, so everyone kind of know it. I said, I manage those properties and, this is what we do. And I'm looking, at the moment, we're filled with contractors and we would love to get some more properties. We take IDs, I'm just trying to make him know that it's very professional. There's even another property in London where, it's a tired landlord. Someone didn't service accommodation before and they did a terrible job. They didn't take ID. There was parties. So he was a bit skeptical. But then when I say, if you do it with me, we're taking IDs, we're taking deposits, we have doorbells, we have locks that change. Yeah.
There's a lot to it.
Absolutely.
It's not as easy as sticking it on Airbnb.
No, it's not.
And that's you've invested in your education.
Yeah.
You've learned how to do it properly.
Yeah.
And now you're saying to the landlord, look, if you rent it normal,
yeah,
you're going to get maybe £1,000 an apartment.
Mm-hmm.
If you rent it on serviced accommodation, you'll get 3,000.
Exactly.
But you don't know how to do it, but I do. Let me manage it. What do you charge percentage-wise?
It varies. So anywhere from 15 to 30%.
30%?
Mm-hmm.
That's high. How do you justify charging 30%?
So the 30% is mainly of the supported living one,
Sure.
just because it's guaranteed income, and I've been working with the same investor for a while.
Yeah.
So.
And how do you know whether to pitch them on rent to rent or just straight management?
It's difficult. You have to ask what they want. I think
Right.
it's a conversation.
Right.
So you don't go in and just tell them this is what I charge. You ask them questions.
Right.
So for example, the recent one I'm working on, for them, they would usually do buy to let, and quite a lot of people approach them for buy to let. But when I showed them the figures, and minus my percentage, they're still making over $2,000 a month. And their mortgage is way low. So they're making a lot more profit.
They're going to make more money from giving you the management, probably.
Yeah.
But then some landlords just want it guaranteed.
Yeah.
And some landlords just think, look, just give me my grand.
Yes.
Anything you make above that, you can keep. But I want to know I'm getting my grand.
Yeah. But these landlords, some landlords are happy to take a bit of risk and some are not. So,
what are the advantages for you from managing instead of doing rent to rent?
You don't have to put any of your money in. The risk is very low.
Yeah.
So I was saying to the guys this week that I didn't realize, but every single one of my deals are no money down deal.
Right.
I've literally invested £0 of my own money in all my deals, all of the properties I have. That's because
crazy.
There's no risk. Well, there is risk, but because I borrowed the money and have to pay it back. But yeah, I haven't.
With management though, there's no money at all, is there?
No money at all.
And then with rent to rent, you've borrowed the money.
Borrowed the money, yeah.
So you've put in no money, but you did put money in for your education, right?
For my education.
How did you afford that? Where did you get that money from?
Just borrowed the money.
Who did you borrow it from?
The bank.
Oh wow, did you? What interest were they charging?
6.8 or something.
That's peanuts though, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's peanuts.
Yeah.
And how much did you have to borrow? The whole 12? Well, you sold a deal, mate.
Sold a deal. I think I only borrowed £6,000.
So you borrowed about £6,000.
I did put £2,000 already, and then the
bit of savings.
Yeah.
Sold a deal.
Yeah.
But the majority a loan.
Yeah.
Half a loan.
Yeah.
6%. That's madness, isn't it? Do you know what I find really interesting? Did you go to university?
Yeah.
What did you study?
Travel management.
How much was it? Like, I know you probably got a student loan, but how much was the uni course?
It was £9,000 a year.
And how many years did you do?
3 years.
So that's like what, 27 grand. Because the thing is, if you do travel management, you know where I'm going with this.
I know.
Where am I going? You tell me.
It's like, are you earning that money back through travel?
Are you?
No.
No. Has it helped you at all though? No.
Absolutely not.
But what's interesting is, like, I bet no one judged you for that decision.
No, everyone's happy that I went to uni.
How did you get people judging you when you joined the academy?
To be honest, I think I didn't even, the noise wasn't even there. If someone didn't have any opinions, it didn't matter to me.
Talk me through your experience of the academy and what has happened exactly.
Okay, so my honest opinion is at the very start, because everything happened so quickly, I didn't utilize the academy and it's the reason why I was so stressed at the beginning, because I'm not utilizing the tools that I had. So I had this block of 20 and I was just like drowning, like trying to figure it out. And I spoke to your mom and then she kind of like break it down to me, and I start networking and speaking to other academy members. And then all of a sudden my, everything just, I start to systemize because, okay, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? And then everyone start to give their opinions or just give tips. And then that just helped me. So the academy has been fantastic, especially like recently now that I'm utilizing it more, networking and just speaking to everyone else and just, yeah.
What would you say to your year younger self who's about to embark on the journey that you've embarked on?
Go for it. Like, don't hesitate. I'm just so happy that I did that. I'm thinking this time last year, what was I doing? Just watching your video on YouTube.
It's madness.
I didn't expect that this would be me a year later. And even today, when I went to the financial, you did the finance...
Financial freedom challenge?
Yeah, no. At the
Samuel's Finance?
No. On the Deal Selling Masterclass, you do a...
Freedom Formula Intensive.
Yeah, right. And you had to write down your goals.
Yes.
Right. I written down that I wanted to be on Winners on a Wednesday within a year, but it's happened so quick.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Manifestation.
And I written down that I wanted to get to service accommodation by the end of April because I received my last paycheck the end of March, and I actually did. So it was just crazy.
Yeah. Do you think is there anything you would do different with your approach and with your strategies of what you've done, or do you think you've played it just perfect?
I would. I mean, I everything that's gone bad or anything that I've struggled with has just made me improve. But if I was to do it again, I would definitely utilize the academy more at the start of my journey and stop being shy per se.
Why was that? Was it just you just didn't want to like bother people or something?
Yeah.
Because I always say like every single Monday I'm like, don't feel like you're bothering us.
That was it.
Go again and again and again. Book as many mentoring, unlimited.
Yeah.
But some people just feel like a bit awkward. I don't know why. Some people really don't though. Some people just like, man, I'll book a mentor call every day. I invest in myself. Most people probably are like that, but there's always the polite people. Sometimes I'll be like,
that's me. I'm the
don't want to overstep the mark.
Yeah,
but now you've realised it's all good.
Yeah, because even, you've spoken about me getting staff and building a team.
Yeah.
And I've just put it out there. And now I've got someone from the academy who's going to help me with my business structure, because organizational structure, because that's what she does in her normal day-to-day job, and I needed help with it. So the fact that I'm speaking to people and telling people what I need, there's so many people willing to help you in the academy. So just talk and just
What about ACPP? What is that and what happened?
It's amazing. Why don't you do it more often? Why is it longer? It's just 2 days. We come down to your house and you put us in a hot seat. And you just ask us so much about the business, but not only do you just ask us about, different questions and, challenges, but at the end of it, for example, after you heard how a mess my life is, you said, LaCarla, what do you need help with? I said, probably staffing and organizational structure. And then on the board, you were just, helping me, this is how you get your staff and this is how you organize, and which was just fantastic. Yeah. And then you're able to learn from other people's.
And the other people in the room, it was ridiculous, isn't it?
Everyone in that room was...
there anyone in the room that was not financially free? I don't think there was. I think every single... There's about, 22, 23?
Yeah, I think everyone's over $5,000. I don't think there was no one below that.
And it's difficult to be around... I mean, when people first join the academy, like you mentioned at first, it's like, I just want to find your feet sometimes.
Yeah.
But like after a few months, when you're around people constantly that are making $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month, it kind of begins to feel normal. Yeah.
Like even now, your mom was like, my next goal should be 50k a month. But I can see it. I can visually see that I can make 50k a month. Before, when I came in, you say, what's your next goal? And I was saying something like 10k across each business. But it's like, no, 50k.
Yeah.
But I realized 10k, I'm almost there. So 50k is the next goal, and I have to set it big, you know.
What is it that drives you then? Where does the motivation come from?
Oh, I've always wanted to live a life where I have a business running for me, making money, and I'm able to travel the world and just live life on my terms.
Makes sense. I like that. That makes sense. And do you think that having a goal is important? Because a lot of people talk about having like why power. Does that resonate for you, or is it just winning?
It's not winning. You have to have a goal. I just remember back from when I first finished college and I wanted to get my first car. If I didn't have that goal, I wouldn't have got it within 9 months. I passed my lessons, got my first car within 9 months of me setting that goal, something I want. If you don't know what you're working towards, you're just working.
Yeah.
You need to have something that's driving you.
How long ago did you finish university?
8 years ago.
Okay. So not that long.
No.
What's next for you then? What's the next plan? 2024. What's the focus?
2024, I want to start owning.
You do own one house though, right?
I do.
You own one and control 26.
Yeah.
And make something crazy a month. I can't remember now. It's $7,000 profit, but yeah.
It's increasing.
You want to start owning more?
Yeah, I want to start owning, especially in this market. It's a buyer's market. So want to start, the next strategy would be raising finance.
Yeah.
And going into
it's interesting though. You know how you told me that it's much easier to get rent to rents and to persuade landlords because you've already got them.
Yes.
You'll also find 100% buying properties is much easier when you currently control properties.
Okay.
And raising finance for things like development deals is much easier when you've raised finance for rent to rents previously because you're in the game.
Yeah.
The fact that you're now in the game, you're doing it, you sat here on Winners on a Wednesday, you know, it's going to be very easy for you to raise finance. You'll be able to, you will. And you'll be able to get the deals because you're on the academy.
Yeah.
We'll be able to help you look at them, review them, help package them. But yeah, that seems like a good next step.
Yeah. So that's the plan for next year.
So final pieces of wisdom before we wrap up.
Just for anyone?
Yeah, for anybody.
Watching this?
Anybody watching this sees what you're saying and thinks, damn, I want to do the same thing. I want to get out of my job. I want to be around Winners. I want to be successful. Definitely
get the training. Without the training, I wouldn't be here. And the other thing is you have to be passionate. You have to be willing to do whatever it takes. There's a lot of people who wants to get into property, but they're scared of letting go, whether it's the job but you have to be so passionate. You just know it will work. Set your goal, get the training, and then just be around Winners.
Love that.
Academy.
Yeah, love that. And I really appreciate you coming in and taking the time to share, to give back. If you're watching this and you want to come and spend a day with me doing property training like LaCarla did, it all starts with the Property Investors Crash Course. So I'm going to leave a link in the description where you can spend a day with me for £1. £1 for a ticket. Connect with LaCarla, dream big, kick ass. I'll see you there.